All right, so I use a ton of rechargeable batteries in my shop, mainly for video production work. So my lav mic runs on these AA batteries, pencil sharpener, and a few other miscellaneous tools. So I have these guys laying all over the shop. So I need to get them organized. And a good way to keep track of which ones need to be charged and which ones have already been charged. So today in Sketchup, we are going to draw a battery sorter to keep our batteries sorted. All right, so let's get this battery sorter drawn up here. If you don't want to watch me draw it and just want to see how it turns out, skip to the end of the video at this timestamp and you'll be able to see how it turned out. Otherwise, I'm going to draw it up in SketchUp. So I have the battery here to take measurements off of and my dial calipers. So let's jump into SketchUp and see what we can come up with. All right, so first let's measure the battery here. And we have a diameter of about 9/16. So I'm just going to go R for the rectangle tool. And I'm going to draw a rectangle that's 9/16 by 9/16. Whoops. All right, and let's pull that out. And our battery is almost 2 inches. So I'm going to round it up 2 inches just so I have a little place. That way, hopefully it won't get stuck in the sorter and just allow it to fall through. So we'll go out 2 inches. All right, and so this is the mass of my battery. So I want the thing to drop in from the top and dispense out the bottom. So I think we'll go up, let's say about 6 inches or so. And then let's Control Z to undo that, and I'm going to hit the modifier key to create a secondary face there and then go up 6 inches. So that way I can come out this direction, and let's just say 1.5. All right, E for the erase tool. All right, so this is the path our battery is going to take. When they're charged, we'll drop it in the top and they'll fall down and come out the bottom here. So I'm going to paint that, B for the paint bucket tool, just so it's clear as I do the rest of the drawing. I'm going to Shift G to make a component here. I'm going to enter the component. I'm going to select this face and Control C to copy, and I have a shortcut key, Control Shift V to paste in place, P to push pull, and we're going to go 0.25, enter. All right. And we'll go up here to Entity Info and change it back to the default color. So now that way I can just see the difference between this is the path and this is the actual 3D print that we're going to make. All right, so I'm going to select that, M to move, Control to copy it over to that side. All right, so P to push pull. We got some extra geometry here, so let's just erase that. All right, P to push pull, and I'm going to hit the Control key to make a copy, so that way I have this extra face here, 0.25, and that will allow me just to pull it all the way across to this side, and then E for the erase tool, and we'll clean up that extra geometry that we just created as a placeholder. All right, and then we need a back. P to push pull, we'll go 0.25, and L for the line tool, we'll just draw a line across there so that way I can just pull up the back. All right, E for the eraser tool. All right, P to push pull. And hit the Control key to make a face, and I'm going to say 0.25, and then how far do I want to go in to hold the batteries? Let's see, let's say about 1/4 inch. All right, so let's hide this guy because I want Go in about 0.25, L for the line tool. So right about there, and the battery is 9/16. So I want to be able to lift the battery out the top. All right, so that way the battery can come in here, stop against that wall, and then I can just lift it straight out. So let's move this side back. I kind of want to round the edges over, but I'm afraid if I round it over, it'll make this corner really weak. So I think I'm going to fatten this sides up here. This would be one of those things where I'd have to print it to know for sure how strong it is, but I think that makes me feel a little bit better. Make sure it's strong enough. 3D print material is pretty inexpensive. Do the same thing on this side. Follow me tool. There we go. All right. Soften and smooth these hard edges here. I feel like this needs to come up a little more. Maybe move this over a little. All right, so there's the basic sorter. Now, I'm concerned about the square corner at the bottom, that the battery's just going to come down here and stop and not continue around the corner. So I think I want this to actually be a curve there. So I don't want it to get hung up on that top edge as it comes around the corner. So I think I need to round that corner over too. All right, there we go. So pretty easy. Oh, you know what? We need a way to hang it on the wall. So, all right, so go 3/16. Right click, find center, go 1/16. Actually, I want a little bit of room in there because I don't want the threads to bite. So let's offset that by about a 64th. All right, so push P to push pull. All right, and then we need to create our countersink. So 11/64. All right, so I think I want a second one straight down here, so I'm just going to group select all of that geometry, M to move, use this edge to follow up and down. Hit the control to copy. I'll just move straight down a little ways, place it, and of course it didn't cut through for some reason, so we'll just L for the line tool and force it. There we go. Go around to the back side. L for the line tool. We'll just draw a little segment in there to clean that up. There we go. Okay, so now let's go print it. All right, instead of printing that whole super tall thing here, what I did was I just printed the bottom loop because I was concerned whether or not this battery would go through here and come out the side. So it is a little bit too tight. It just does not go through there very well. So I'm glad I test printed just the bottom so I wouldn't have to waste all that time and filament. So I loosened that guy up, and I'll show you how I did that in just a second. And then, whoa, so now the battery does flow through there a little ways. But when I fill this whole thing all the way up, there's so much weight that it pushes out the top. So I need to increase this little lip right here, I think all the way to the top. So that way, once it hits there, it hits a good stop instead of just halfway stop. A little more support to keep the battery from popping out from the weight of all the other batteries. So I'm going to do that, 3D print it, and then we'll go hang it up in the shop if it works. All right, so we'll jump right back into SketchUp here real quick to show you how I relieved that area. All right, so since the battery chute is too tight, I want to open this gap up in here so the batteries roll through a little bit easier. So normal push-pull in SketchUp does not allow you to push-pull on a curved surface, but there's a extension called joint push-pull. So that does allow you to push-pull on a curved surface. So that way I can just open this up maybe a 1/16 or so. And now I have a 1/16 inch wider gap in there. So hopefully that will allow the battery to flow through there. And I may do another test print and whatnot, but also want to increase this so we don't have any of those problems. All right, so here we go, our completed piece, and I also printed one in red, so charged batteries, not charged batteries. And I'm gonna mount this guy between the two, but there's no mounting holes, so the next video will probably be me drawing a mounting plate. I'm not really sure if I'll show that video or not, because it's just a rectangle with a flange, so it's not very exciting. But if I can figure out a way to add some kind of value to it, I'll make that video. But otherwise, I'm gonna mount it up here. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. Now when the mic dies on that lav mic, I can just pull out some new batteries and I'm ready to go.